No one is coming to save you. That's the first truth you must face. Not with fear, but with fire. The moment you stop waiting for the perfect timing, the right mentor, the ideal conditions, is the moment you begin to reclaim your life. Because the truth, the brutal, beautiful truth, your life is your responsibility, not your parents', not your partner's, not your boss, your past, or your pain, yours. And until you grab the wheel of your life like your destiny depends on it, you will drift, tossed by opinions, excuses, and the stories you've told yourself for far too long. But you didn't come this far to float. You came here to wake up, to rise, to take ownership of every thought, every breath, every step forward. Because the moment you claim responsibility, you claim power. That's the price, that's the path, and that's the promise. Responsibility is not a burden. It is the birthplace of freedom. You see, we live in a world addicted to blame. People point fingers like it's a full-time job, blaming their parents, the economy, the government, their ex, their genetics. Blame gives comfort. It gives you a reason to stay small. It gives you a shield so you never have to confront the a man or woman, in the mirror. But here's the hard truth. As long as you blame something outside of you, you hand your power to it. And you? You were not born to be powerless. You were not built for excuses. You were not designed to live a life of quiet frustration, scrolling through other people's victories while denying your own potential. You were created to take command, to rewrite the script, to stop saying why me and start saying watch me. Responsibility is the pivot point. It is the fork in the road where people either choose comfort or greatness. Let me say this loud and clear. Responsibility is not guilt, it's not shame, it's not punishment, it's ownership. It means you no longer outsource your life to fate. It means you stop waiting for external permission to go all in. It means you understand, if it's to be, it's up to me. Edison didn't wait for someone to invent the light bulb. Ford didn't wait for someone to revolutionize industry. Oprah didn't wait for someone to tell her she mattered. They decided. They took full responsibility for what they envisioned, even when the world said they were crazy, and that's the secret most people miss. The moment you decide that you are the one who breaks the cycle, builds the legacy, and refuses to settle, you step into an entirely different reality. You shift from victim to creator. You start thinking differently, speaking differently, walking into rooms with a fire in your chest and a reason in your soul, because responsibility ignites purpose. And purpose will make you relentless. Let's get one thing straight. Your mindset is not a gift, it is a muscle. You weren't born with a weak mindset or a strong one. You were born with a choice, and every single day you either train it or you trash it. There is no in-between. People who win in life, truly win, don't do so by accident. They condition themselves to see possibilities where others see problems. They've made it their mission to direct their focus, master their inner dialogue, and push past the noise. And that level of clarity only comes when you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what am I going to do with it? That shift, that one subtle radical shift, is the difference between stuck and unstoppable. Responsibility doesn't remove pain, it removes helplessness. When you own your situation, even when it's unfair, even when it's painful, even when it wasn't your fault, you take back the driver's seat. You no longer wait for someone to show you the path. You become the path. Do you want to know what separates the 1%? The ones who rise, lead, dominate, inspire from everyone else? It's not talent, it's not intelligence, it's not luck, it's ownership. They've burned the exit plan. They've stopped looking for shortcuts. They've stopped asking for guarantees. They've declared, if I fail, I'll own it. And if I win, I'll earn it. That level of certainty, that level of inner fire, doesn't come from a motivational video. It doesn't come from someone patting your back. It comes from a deep, raw decision made in silence, when no one's watching, where you finally say, this is my life, and I will not live it. Halfway. You can have excuses, or you can have results. You can have comfort, or you can have growth. You can stay afraid, or you can move forward scared. But you cannot have both. And if you're going to build a life that means something, that actually matters, Then stop handing over the blueprint. Give your future to someone else's opinions. This is your responsibility. This is your power. This is your time. You will never act beyond what you believe. That's the ceiling. That's the invisible wall between where you are and where you were. Born to be, and most people, they don't hit a wall made of reality. They hit a wall made of belief. Because if deep down you don't believe you're worthy, if you don't believe you're capable, if you don't believe you're powerful enough to change your life, then it doesn't matter what books you read, what courses you buy, or what advice you're given, you'll sabotage it. Not because you're broken, but because you haven't yet decided to believe something new. Belief is not inherited, it's not transferred. It's chosen, and it starts the moment you stop outsourcing your identity to your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your trauma. You are not your bank account, your GPA, your skin color, or your last relationship. You are the architect of your next chapter. But if you want to build a new life, you need to burn the old blueprint. Vision is where it begins. Not the kind of vision that looks good on a vision board and collects dust. I'm talking about the kind that haunts you. The kind that pulls you forward when logic says quit. The kind of vision that lives in your gut, not your comfort zone. The most powerful people on earth are not the most educated. They're not even the most connected. They are the ones who saw something before anyone else could and believed in it when no one else would. Walt Disney saw an empire of imagination while people mocked his drawings. Steve Jobs saw technology in the palms of our hands when we were still tethered to desks. Tony Robbins saw a world where pain could become power, and he built it. And you? You've seen things too. Dreams that whisper to you when the world goes quiet. Ideas that scare you because they feel too big. Goals you haven't said out loud because someone, somewhere, made you believe you were too small. But let me remind you of something real. If the vision came to you, it's because it's meant to come through you. That dream you keep suppressing, that's your assignment. It's not there to tease you. It's there to transform you, if you stop running from it and start running toward it. But vision alone isn't enough. Without purpose, vision becomes fantasy. Purpose gives vision weight. Purpose is what gets you up when comfort says, sleep in. Purpose is what keeps your fire burning when the applause fades and the audience disappears. And if you haven't found your purpose yet, it's not because you don't have one. It's because you haven't claimed it. Purpose doesn't arrive. Purpose is chosen. You don't need a divine sign. You need a decision. Ask yourself, what breaks your heart and what sets it on fire? What would you die for? And therefore what? Must you live for? What pain have you walked through that you can now turn into someone else's path? Because the greatest people, the ones who change the world, are not the ones who avoided pain. They're the ones who repurposed it. They turned wounds into wisdom. They turned loss into leadership. They turned breakdowns into blueprints. That's purpose. And when you align with it, you become unstoppable. But here's the brutal reality. Purpose without discipline is just potential. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if you don't follow through when it's boring, when it's hard, when it's thankless, you'll break your own heart. Discipline is the bridge between intention and impact. It's not sexy. It's not flashy. It doesn't trend. But it's the reason some people win quietly for years, while others make noise but never move. Discipline is doing it when it's inconvenient. Discipline is keeping your word to yourself when no one's watching. Discipline is showing up like the results already belong to you. Don't wait for motivation. Don't rely on hype. Build the habits that don't care how you feel. You can train your body. You can train your mind. You can train your spirit. But you must show up daily, because every time you keep your promise to yourself, even in the smallest ways, you rewrite your identity. You stop being someone who tries, and you become someone who does. Let me ask you something. What if today is the day you stop negotiating with your greatness? What if today is the day you stop asking for permission, stop apologizing for wanting more, and stop explaining why you haven't yet become the person you were created to be? What if this is the moment you draw a line in the sand and say, I'm done playing small? Done blaming, done doubting, done delaying. Because here's what you need to know. Your future is watching. It's watching the decisions you make when no one's clapping. It's watching the battles you fight in silence. It's watching whether you shrink back or step forward. And every time you choose discipline over distraction, purpose over comfort, courage over fear, you cast a vote for the future you want. Not someday. Not when the stars align. Now. You've got dreams? Then act like. Then don't just speak it, move on it. Don't just hope for it, hunt for it. Because dreams don't work until you do. You don't get confidence from thinking. You don't get clarity from sitting on the fence. You get those things from motion, from taking one bold, imperfect, terrifying step after another. People spend years waiting to feel ready. But here's the truth. Readiness is a lie. You don't wait for courage to act. You act your way into courage. The greats, the legends, the leaders, the warriors, they didn't wait for the fear to vanish. They stepped forward with knees shaking and hearts pounding, knowing that action beats anxiety every time. That's how momentum is born. Not from ease, and from movement. The minute you start, even if it's messy, especially if it's messy, you wake up a part of your brain that's been asleep. The part that says, we're doing this now. And once that switch flips, something changes. You stop being a spectator in your own life. You stop living in theory, and you start building a life that's real. But don't get it twisted. Momentum is not magic. It's maintenance. You don't just start once. You restart every single day, when you're tired, when you failed, when it's not fair, when it's not fun. Because consistency is how you tell life, I'm serious now, and you will be tested. Life will throw punches, plans will collapse, people will quit on you. The world won't hand you anything just because you want it. But that's the gift, because pressure builds power and adversity activates authority. You want to be powerful? Learn to move forward when everything says stop. You want to be respected? Learn to stay disciplined when no one's watching. You want to change your life? Learn to build while bleeding. The ones who make it aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who decided nothing will make me quit. Not fear, not failure, not betrayal, not delay, not even success. Because the moment you let up, you start sliding back. So here's the deeper truth. If you're going to own your life, you better be ready to adapt. This world changes fast. Technology evolves, economies shift, people come and go. And if you cling to what used to work, if you stay loyal to your comfort zone, you'll get left behind. Adaptability is not weakness, it's not surrender, it's survival. It's strategy. It's the skill of the elite. The most dangerous person in the room is the one who refuses to be rigid. Because when life throws a curveball, they pivot. When the plan breaks, they rebuild. When the market crashes, they rise from the rubble with new ideas and sharper claws. That's power. You don't fold under pressure, you mold it. You become liquid, flexible, fierce, fluid, and focused. And the people who can do that, who don't panic when the storm hits, who adjust with speed and humility, they don't just survive change, they lead it. Now let's talk about resilience, the kind that doesn't look cute on Instagram, the kind forged in the dark, in silence, in solitude, in seasons of rejection. Resilience is not just bouncing back. It's coming back wiser, hungrier, harder to kill. And here's what they won't tell you. Resilience is a skill. It's not inherited. It's not genetic. It's not reserved for the chosen few. It's built by showing up one more time, after failure, after heartbreak, after humiliation. It's built in the moments where you want to disappear, but choose to stand up anyway. Thomas Edison ran 10,000 failed experiments before the light bulb lit up. Abraham Lincoln lost election after election before changing history. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school team before becoming the greatest. They didn't just succeed, they endured. Because life doesn't care how you feel, it cares how you fight. So if you want to own your life, if you want to live free, fulfilled and on fire, then get this etched into your bones. Your ability to suffer well will determine how far you go. You don't need things to get easier. You need to get stronger. And finally, never forget the most underrated form of power. Gratitude. Gratitude isn't softness, it's a weapon. When everything around you is chaos, and you can still find something to honor, to appreciate, to anchor yourself in. You're untouchable. Gratitude turns stress into strength. It turns pressure into perspective. It turns scarcity into abundance. You don't practice gratitude because life is perfect. You practice it because it makes you powerful, because the more grateful you are, the more present you are, and the more present you are, the more effective you become. That's not philosophy. That's strategy. The most dangerous person is the one who can look life in the face, with its setbacks, suffering, and uncertainty, and say, "Thank you. I'm still here. Let's go."